What up, what up, what up, what up? Everybody, welcome to Card Chaos Live. It is Friday. And for those of you who don't know, Card Chaos Live is a game that I created after the NBA was on pause briefly because of COVID. And yeah, I am a card collector, card investor. And what I do is I shuffle my NBA trading cards to create one-on-one matchups that we may aim or may not see in today's NBA. And that means any player, any position, any era, anything goes. All right. Today's featured game is LeBron and Jamal Murray. So here's the LeBron card that I have. Now let me preface this to say, like, this is not the most expensive, high value LeBron card that I have, but um people think I'm crazy for shuffling my cards. They're in top loaders, they're protected, but this is the LeBron James that I'm gonna use for this game. And I have duplicates of Jamal Murray Prizm Silver. We're gonna only use one. Doesn't one look purple and one look blue? Look at that. Look at that. Y'all notice that? This one looks purple and this one looks blue. Anyway, these guys will match up one-on-one for this game of one-on-one Card Chaos Live. So go ahead and tag your friend. This game is simple. I put a 60-second clock up to give you guys time to tell me who you think would win. All right. And let me put the clock on the board. By the way, this isn't like a new thing. We're on episode 61. 61. I've been around for 61 episodes. And I want to thank everybody that's been hanging with me. I want to make an announcement later about a new game I have coming up, but let's not confuse the situation. All right. So I'm going to share the screen. This is my 60-second clock. And I'll count down when it's time. What up, Rock J? Rock, it looks like you're the only one here for today. So that means you get to run the board. All right. You get to run the board. All right. I also had a second matchup that I wanted to do instead of this one, but it seems as though this was a big thing last night. Apparently, LeBron James took up the assignment to guard Jamal Murray, and then the Lakers proceeded to win. So with that said, those two players are going to be up for the board. And by the way, this Jamal card is worth maybe $50 on eBay. I just checked it this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the bracket. Now, this is the bracket. Rock, you were here on the last episode, and you may be the only one here for this one, so you'll get to vote for everything. But in last episode, Scottie Pippen was able to beat LeBron one-on-one. And now we get to fill in this new bracket with Jamal Murray and LeBron. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards. Well, give me 1 second. I actually did not share the show to my own page. So just give me 1 second and I'll do that, and then we shall begin. All right. Actually, let me just go now because I don't want to hold you up. All right. So let's go. Welcome to this episode of Card Chaos Live. I'm going to shuffle the cards. So, what's up, Jason? In the first bracket? In the first bracket, who I have? 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 Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson will be in this episode of Card Chaos Live. Against Magic Johnson. Against Magic Johnson, who I have? 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 What's the play high of Magic Johnson? Against Magic Johnson, who I have? Come on. All right, Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. out with the ACL, but out with the ACL. Against in the next bracket, who I have? Thank you, Rock J. In the next bracket, we will have. In the next bracket, we will have. In the next bracket, we will have Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid will be in this episode of Hard Chaos Live. Against Joel Embiid. Against Joel Embiid, we will have. Against Joel Embiid, we will have. Against Joel Embiid, we'll have Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam in this episode of Hard Chaos Live. And in the last bracket. In the last bracket. Rock J, since you're here, who's your favorite player? I'll put him against this next player. In the last bracket, we will have. In the last bracket, we will have. In the last bracket, we will have. In the last bracket, we will have Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen. And against Scottie Pippen. Against Scottie Pippen, we will have. 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 Scottie Pippen back. Dirk Nowitzki. All right, so the featured players tonight are Jaren Jackson III, Magic Johnson. We have Pascal Siakam and Joel Embiid. And last but not least, we have the featured event, which is Jamal Murray versus LeBron James. Jamal Murray versus LeBron James. All right. And now, the subs for today. The subs for today will be Arvydas Sabonis, Paul George, and Jimmy Butler. All right. Again, it's Jimmy Butler, Paul George, and Arvydas Sabonis. Welcome to this episode of Hard Chaos Live. Thank you guys so much. What a relaxed day. Okay, so I'm going to stop the music right before I begin. I just want to say that I have a new game coming up strictly to accommodate football called Real Stat 360. And I've released it earlier this year, and then we had the unfortunate situation with Kobe passing away. Not to say that the game was centered around Kobe, but I did a Kobe episode, and it got a little bit sad. But that game is fairly simple. I love simple games. All you have to do is tell me whether or not a stat I quoted was a real stat or not. If it's a real stat, you say real stat. If it's not, you tell me it's higher or lower. All right. So I'll debut that or repost that episode later today, but let's get to the game. All right. So here's the bracket. The first matchup we're gonna have is, let's do Joel Embiid versus Pascal Siakam. Now, if you don't like that matchup, just let me know right now. We can sub in a player. Right now it's Joel Embiid versus Pascal Siakam. All right. Remember, the subs are Paul George, Arvydas Sabonis, and who's the third one? Paul George, Arvydas Sabonis, and Jimmy Butler. Okay, so here's the first matchup. If I don't see anybody against it, it will go through. So again, it's Pascal Siakam, Joel Embiid. All right, this is a very nice will to win. Joel Embiid, probably worth money. All right. Sub in. You want to sub in Arvydas Sabonis for Pascal Siakam? Is that what you want? Ooh, come on, Pascal. Sub in Arvydas Sabonis. Okay, so let's do that. Let's take out Pascal Siakam. Let's put in Arvydas Sabonis and make it Joel Embiid versus Arvydas Sabonis. If you have anybody that's a Portland Trailblazers fan, you just let them know that we're doing some blasphemous stuff here. But I don't think this is as straightforward as you think. So We're going to go ahead and put 60 seconds on the clock. Arvydas Sabonis versus Joel Embiid. Let us begin. All right. So let me turn this up a little. All right. So again, adjust my mic. So listen, Rock J says that Arvydas Sabonis automatically wins, but I don't know. Okay, so Joel Embiid and Arvydas Sabonis share two things. They can shoot from outside. Now, I think Arvydas Sabonis was obviously better shooter, but we only know Arvydas later in his career, so he could have, I don't know, maybe his game changed to accommodate his lack of mobility, but I don't know. I wouldn't say Joel Embiid would lose this one. In fact, I think Joel Embiid might actually pull this off. Joel Embiid is just, to me, just as athletic as young Sabonis, but also I think his outside game may be a little bit stronger. He may be a little bit more dynamic too. Tough one. It was so hard for me to even put this together. Thanks for the sub, Rock J. But yeah, I think it's a tie. What's up, Steven Garcia? We just came in. We just did Joel Embiid versus Arvydas Sabonis. If you want to vote, we'll give him a last minute vote if he feels like it. But let's look at the board. Jason says Joel. Rock J says Sabonis got the total package. Big man, way before his time, shot to dominate. He did, but like if they played each other 1-on-1, do you think that Sabonis would have enough to beat Joel Embiid? I don't think so. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with Jason for this one. Rock J, Jason and I agree, and I'm not bringing up no random name picker. We're gonna go ahead and say that Joel Embiid is gonna be better than Arvydas Sabonis. All right, it's a good one to poll. I'll update the site when I can. All right, so we'll move on. Joel Embiid. Sorry, Arvydas. Arvydas Sabonis was one of my favorite players growing up. All right, let's move on to the next matchup, which is Dirk Nowitzki versus Scottie Pippen. All right, Dirk Nowitzki versus Scottie Pippen. All right, let me put this up on the board. This is a very good matchup too. Two very different players. There you go. Two very different players. But nonetheless, I think this will be a crazy matchup. All right. So if you got any Bulls fan friends or Scottie Pippen friends, Scottie Pippen loving friends, that's me. And or any Dallas Maverick friends, let them know that we're about to do this vote. All right. I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the clock right after I type them in. I don't want to run. I get so excited about some of these, I forget to put them in the bracket. So go ahead and tag your friends if you know somebody that likes Dirk and likes Pippen. Dirk, Pippen. I'm gonna go ahead and put 60 seconds on the clock. 60 seconds on the clock. Let us begin. Dirk Nowitzki versus Scottie Pippen. Woo! Remember, this game is any player, any position, any era, anything goes. All right. So, Dirk versus Pippen would be a classic if it happened. I don't know. I think Scottie Pippen can guard Dirk Nowitzki. It'll be tough because Dirk was just as tall as well. He's probably one of the taller players that Pippen would ever face, and Pippen's arms for the first time may not be a distraction because Dirk is just as long as Pippen in terms of arms. But I don't know if Dirk can guard Scottie Pippen, right? I can't even remember what level that we ranked Dirk's defense, period. But Scottie Pippen would definitely give him a lot to handle, as Scottie Pippen was one of the first point forwards of basketball. One of them, all right? I don't want people to think I'm disrespecting other point forwards like Magic But Scottie Pippen would definitely be much quicker than Dirk could handle in terms of keeping up with him. And I don't know if Dirk faced a lot of bigs with great handle. Can we think about that for a minute? Did Dirk Nowitzki ever have to face a big that could ball handle? Do we have many of those? Welcome to Card Chaos Live, where I shuffle my NBA trading cards to create one-on-one matchups. Friday's always a light day, but it gets me a chance to say things that y'all don't come after me for. All right. So Rock J still on Sabonis. Rock J says Scottie Pippen for the win. Only problem would be Dirk's fadeaway. Yeah, I can see that. Dirk's fadeaway would be difficult. Scottie prided himself on being able to get a hand in people's faces. But again, Dirk is such a tall player that I don't even know if Scottie Pippen putting his hand up would be able to stop him from making those fadeaway jumpers. All right. Jason said, "Wow, have to go with Pippen, especially Prime Pip. Prime Pippen is nothing to sneeze at. So definitely Prime Pippen would be great. And yeah, all in all, I think that I'm gonna have to agree. Ooh, sorry about that. I'm gonna have to agree with Rock Jason and go with Scottie Pippen. He said Dirk is an average defender. Okay, so let me ask you a question, Rock J. If you think Dirk Nowitzki is an average defender, why did you pick him to win one-on-one? All right, why did you pick him to be one-on-one if you think that he would lose? All right, Dirk is an average defender. I don't know. Anyway, let's just bring back the chart up. It seems as though Rock J is on the fence when it comes to Dirk Nowitzki versus Pippen, but me and Jason are confident with our votes, and we're gonna move Scottie Pippen on against Joel Embiid. It looks like in the semifinals. Okay, so now the main event is LeBron James versus Jamal Murray. So the reason why I did this one is because last night, as you heard, like LeBron James decided that he wanted to guard Jamal, and apparently was successful at it. And then Jamal Murray obviously has been on a tear for this playoffs, and besides Michael Porter Jr. has been doing a fantastic job in the playoffs, probably averaging around maybe 20 or so points a game. So definitely a handful for the Lakers. All right. Okay, right. I believe you. So we all pick Pippen and landslide. All right. So this main event, I'm gonna put up right now. I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the clock. Scottie Pippen, LeBron James versus Jamal Murray. Let's begin. So in a team game, right? LeBron James was able to put the clamps on Jamal Murray. Right. By the way, this card is worth $179. Nothing to sneeze at. Sorry to waste the time, but okay. So LeBron James guarded Jamal Murray and was able to slow him down. But the question is, if they face each other one-on-one, would he be able to do the same thing? I am not sure. The question is, does Jamal Murray have like a crazy handle? All right. Even though LeBron James facilitates, I don't consider himself a ball handler. So I'm not really even sure if he can create his own shot. I know he could create shots for other people. So honestly, the ball will be in his hands a lot because he could create his own shots. The question is, can he make them? You know, LeBron is shooting 50% from the field. I'm not really sure about Jamal Murray. His field goal percentage, it's 43%, but he's taking a lot of jump shots. One-on-one, the question is, will Jamal Murray be able to succeed against LeBron? I think it would be a tight match, very tight match, but I'm not really sure who would come out on top. All right. This is one-on-one Card Chaos Live, where I shuffle my NBA trading cards to create one-on-one matchups. Let's see what the wall is saying. So Jason says, don't think Murray can guard him, going with Braun. Rock J says Braun. Jason says Braun's arms are so long he can give up a little space. Oh, so I'm the only one that thinks Jamal Murray has a chance. I can't even deny. I don't even think that it's a terrible choice. The game would be really close. So I'm not gonna fight this. And what's that face, Rock J? I'm not gonna fight this. I'm gonna go ahead and say and give in to the rest of you guys and put LeBron to move on against Jamal Murray. But I don't know. I think it'll be closer than you think. So let's move on. LeBron James. And the last matchup is Magic Johnson versus Jaren Jackson III. James versus Jaren Jackson III. If you guys want to keep doing this, I will move it on. But if you want to sub either Jaren Jackson III or Magic Johnson, you can. The subs that are left are Paul George and Jimmy Butler. Paul George and Jimmy Butler are the two subs that are left for this episode. So if you want to sub one or the other, just let me know. I almost want to sub both of them out. I almost want to put in Paul George and Jimmy Butler and sit Magic and Jaren Jackson III. So just okay. So Jason says sub Jackson for Paul George. Okay, so is this the final one? Subbing Jimmy Butler. All right, so we're gonna do Paul George versus Magic Johnson. What up, Charles Porter? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the sub. We're gonna sub in Jaren Jackson the third. Sub Paul George for Jaren Jackson the third, and leave in Magic. All right, so I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the clock. Let us begin. All right, so listen. Listen, Paul George gets got a lot of grief over the whole playoffs, matter of fact, because he's been coming up short, a lot of online beef, but I don't know. Now, I know I have a Magic bias, so this is going to be difficult. I think Magic Johnson was good for facilitating for other people, creating for himself, not so much, but prime Magic Johnson on his own, even though he facilitated for the team, averaged about, I think it was like 21 points a game. Paul George, I think, may have a slightly better handle and maybe better at defense. So the question is, could Magic guard Paul George? And can Paul George guard Magic Johnson? All right, I think Paul George can guard Magic Johnson. I think Paul George could guard Magic Johnson, but I don't think Magic Johnson could guard Paul George. But it would be close. It's not going to be like you get demolished by Paul George. I think they're a comparable matchup. So the game would go to the brink, but I just give Paul George. Maybe this is a bad thing. We all give Paul George the benefit of the doubt all the time. All right. So let's go see what the wall is saying. The wall says, Charles said I'm on vacay first time. Well, welcome. Thank you for spending at least 20 minutes with us. Because it's a very quick game. I'm not on all day. So Magic Johnson, easy. Charles said Magic, when he played center, he created. Oh, that's a good point. Jason says more agility and handling. Baby Skyhook wins. Magic a better player than Paul, doesn't have that killer instinct. That is true. Is it Indiana Paul George? That is a good question. I always say prime, because this card is a Blazer card, but like just to make things even, I try to say both players in their prime. Tough, but it seems like most of the board is picking Magic, and I can't complain with that. I always have a little bit of bias for Paul George because he was on my team, but damn it, like he's not performing. So what the hell, man? There's only so much you can do for your favorite. Well, he's not even our favorite, but there's almost so much you can do in favor of a player. If they're not performing, they're not performing. So we're gonna move on Magic and look at this semifinals. Let me boost it a little bit for you so you guys can see. Look at this semifinals. What a great semifinals. And let me just give these players their due. And go ahead and tag a friend. You see what the semifinals are. I'm going to introduce the semifinal players right now. Okay. All right. The semifinal players are, again, Magic Johnson. He's in the semifinals of Card Chaos Live. We have Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is in the finals of Card Chaos Live. Scottie Pippen. Also, LeBron James. LeBron James has made it to the semifinals of Card Chaos Live. And last but not least, we have Joel Embiid. Again, it's Joel Embiid. LeBron James. Scottie Pippen. And Magic. Those are your 4 players on Card Chaos Live. All right. So let us now go back to the board. All right. So we have a spicy semifinals right here. We have Joel Embiid versus Scottie Pippen. We have LeBron James versus Magic Johnson. To warm up before we get to the semifinal matchups, let's do a little 2-on-2. In between Joel Embiid and Scottie Pippen, you will see an A. Between LeBron James and Magic Johnson, you will see a B. This is my attempt to say, what if these players got the opportunity to match up? Right? What if it's Joel Embiid was on the same team with Scottie Pippen and LeBron James was on the same team as Magic Johnson? Spicy. So let us think about this, right? Remember, A, you got to say A if you think Joel Embiid and Scottie Pippen would win. You got to say B if you think LeBron James, let me show the screen a little, LeBron James and Magic would win. All right? Let's say it's a toss-up. Who gets ball first? This is a hard one. That's a good question, Charles. Whoever gets ball first in your mind. All right, we're gonna do it like that. All right, I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the clock. Let us begin. So remember, Team A is Joel Embiid and Scottie Pippen. Team B is Magic Johnson and LeBron James. Now, Charles brought up a good point and said Magic Johnson did play some center, right? We always know him as the point forward, but he did play the 5 sometimes because of the size. So this is an even matchup because Magic Johnson can play Joel Embiid, who is on Team B, and LeBron James and Pippen can match up for Team A against Team A. All right. Ooh, sorry. Lighting. All right. So the question is, who would win? Tough matchup. The question is, let's see, who would have the better jumper? I don't know. I feel like Joel Embiid is the breaker in this because Scottie Pippen and LeBron, maybe they're going to go head to head. That's going to be a good matchup. But I think Joel Embiid post game is stronger than Magic Johnson's post game. Right? Joel Embiid, believe it or not, would be the key to this matchup because just being closer to the basket does make a difference. But again, it could go either way. I could see LeBron James and Magic Johnson being very dynamic and very fast and tiring out maybe a Joel Embiid. Scottie Pippen is in shape, but we all know Joel Embiid has always, or we say he's had problems being in shape, but we don't know. Congratulations, Joel Embiid just had a baby, by the way. So let's see what the wall is saying. Omar picks Magic and LeBron, Team B. Rock J says this is a toss-up. Could be last with the ball wins. Yes. Jason says can go either way, but go to Team B. Rock J also says Team B. Wait, hold on, Rock J. I'm good. Okay, he changed his mind. Rock J said, changing my mind. I don't think either can check Scotty. Justin, welcome back, Justin. Justin says Team B. So that's 3 Team Bs to 2 Team As. Charles said, I think Magic's ability to handle the rock and open up for Bron would be a wild card. Good point. Also said Joel stays in the paint and could be, but tends to fall in love with the jumper. Yeah, he probably could miss a bunch of shots. So all in all, it seems like you guys have voted that Team B, which is LeBron James and Magic Johnson, would come out on top if they played 2-on-2. Thank you for that warm-up all. All right, so let's get back to the real matchup, which is 1-on-1. In the first matchup, the teammates are now foes. Joel and Embiid will now match up against Scottie Pippen. All right, I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock. We got Joel Embiid versus Scottie Pippen. Let us begin. All right, Joel Embiid versus Scottie Pippen. So, I know we give Scottie Pippen credit for being a point forward and being one of the best defensive players in NBA history. But no disrespect, I feel like Joel Embiid will be a handful for him. All right. Yeah, Scottie Pippen can guard 1 through 5, but I feel like Joel Embiid, just the size and weight, is something that he wouldn't necessarily deal with. So Scottie can't block. I don't think Scottie can block Joel Embiid. It'll have to be Joel Embiid doing it to himself. Joel Embiid would have to say he's not going to use his body. He's not going to stay in the post, and he's going to take jumpers. Scottie Pippen, he'll try to get to the basket. He's a ball handler. He can do all he can, but I feel like Joel Embiid would be able to block his stuff. All right? It's a tough one for me to say, but all in all, I think Joel Embiid, because of his size, comes out on top. All right? Welcome to Card Kiosk Live. There's 5 people watching. Go ahead and hit the like button to let Facebook know this is real. Let's see what's going on. What's up, Eddie? Welcome back, Eddie. Everybody's pouring in. Probably had a late lunch. That's cool. It's Friday, but I thank you guys for spending the last bit of your lunches with me. And let's see what the wall is saying. So the wall is saying, okay. So Eddie picks Scottie Pippen. All right. Charles says, I'll say the same. If Joel utilizes his post, he can dominate. I believe that's true. Rock J says Pippen, though. Justin votes Pippen. He said not a hard decision. Charles says he's one of the few bigs who have the footwork and mindset to punish a smaller player. I do believe that. I think Joel would be on top, right? But it just seems like no one... even though it's just me and Charles, just thinking Joel Embiid could beat Scottie Pippen 1-on-1. The rest of the wall has picked Scottie Pippen. So unfortunately for me, Scottie Pippen does not. Scottie Pippen moves on. Even though I'm the biggest Scottie Pippen fan, I just think that, like, if we just look at skills, if we just look at what's what, I think that Scottie Pippen would lose to Joel Embiid. All right. The next matchup is a big one as well. Another main event type. We have LeBron James versus Magic Johnson. What a classic matchup. All right. So here are the 2 cards. I'll say again, this LeBron James card again. I just looked at it briefly on eBay. It's a 17th year, right? So it's not like worth a ton, but it is worth, at least I've seen it as high as $179. So it's so all in all, I really shouldn't be shuffling these bad boys, but they're protected, right? And this Irving, I don't know, I haven't priced it yet, but this is the card, just so you guys could see the card art right there. It's a USA basketball card, but it has Magic Johnson on the cover in the Lakers uniform. In the back, it's in his USA uniform. All right. So All right, I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock. We have LeBron James versus Magic Johnson, a Laker versus a Laker, legend versus a legend. Let's begin. All right. Okay, tough one. You know, this very card that I have in my hand says LeBron James built more in the mold of Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. It says it right here in the back. So it's like a mirror versus a mirror. I don't know. This is a tough one. I feel like either one can win. I want to say LeBron, but I don't want to say LeBron just because I didn't see, like, I saw Magic play in near the end of his career. My camera adjust. All right, I saw Magic play near the end of his career, but not in his prime. So it's hard for me to judge. But I did see LeBron play, so it's difficult to even just say. Either way, you win. All right, either way, you win. All right, welcome to Card Chaos Live. I couldn't get you a great shot of this card. My bad. I had it on the wrong setting. But yeah, all in all, I think that LeBron James will come out on top. But I feel like either choice is a good choice. Like I said, the card on the back of this LeBron card, it literally says, built in the mold of Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. James plays a team first brand of basketball, creating easy shots for his teammates. But again, this is one-on-one. Which one of them can create the best shot from themselves? Let's see what the wall says. All right. So who said what up? What's up, Donovan? All right. So Eddie says LeBron. What's up, Donovan? One-on-one setting, I think LeBron is too strong and too fast. Gotta go with LeBron, Rock J. So that's 3 for LeBron. Justin says LeBron simply for driving to the basket. So that's 4 for LeBron. Charles says Prawn has a little better jumper and ability to get hot. I believe it. You know, I feel like they're both team basketball. I don't know of any highlights of Magic Johnson getting stuff for himself, but I'm not to say it doesn't exist. He did average like 20 something points a game, so he's scoring somehow. Eddie says LeBron is more explosive. Donovan says you want out of your league back one day. Magic's game is perfect team setting, not so much for one-on-one. That's what I think. I know he's probably matched up one-on-one, but all his highlights are like driving and doing passes to other people. So, LeBron James. So I don't think anybody picked Magic. So it's been a sweep. So I just want to bring up the board again. Everybody, thank you for joining One-on-One Card Chaos. Again, One-on-One Card Chaos, where I shuffle my NBA trading cards to create one-on-one matchups that we may or may not see in today's NBA. Any player, any position, any era, anything goes. For those of you who are joining me just now, we just went through a heck of a 8-man bracket. We had Joel Embiid versus Sabonis. Joel on top. We had Dirk versus Pippen. Pippen came out on top. Jamal Murray versus LeBron. LeBron came out on top. And PG, a late sub for Jaren Jackson III versus Magic. We just went through the semifinals where Joel Embiid versus Pippen. Pippen came out on top. And we had Laker versus Laker. LeBron James versus Magic with LeBron coming out on top. For the second episode in a row, we have Scottie Pippen going out to see if he can get that championship. Is it back-to-back for Scottie Pippen, or do we have LeBron James? This is a classic matchup that everybody wants to see. Okay? All right. So, again, if you're joining the game for the first time, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button. If you could also hit the love button. Tell Facebook you love this. I'm on here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. We're also bringing back a show called Real Stat 360, where I read off stats. You could tell me if it's the real stat or not. This is applicable to football, baseball, NHL, and the NBA. So look out for that soon. Here is the heavy hitting finals again. Those of you who are joining, the finals is Scottie Pippen versus LeBron James. Go ahead and tag a friend right now. because I am not going to be the tiebreaker for this one. All right. So I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock. We're going to do LeBron James versus Scottie Pippen. Ooh, ooh, ooh. My skin is crawling. 60 seconds on the clock. Let's begin. All right. So here's my very expensive LeBron James card, which I shouldn't be shuffling, and Scottie Pippen. Okay, so 2 point forwards, head to head. Old school versus new school. So I don't know. LeBron James would definitely be a handful for Scottie Pippen, but they are almost the same height. Scottie Pippen is his hands or arms are 7 foot long or 9 foot long or whatever, so he'd be able to get a hand in LeBron James's face. The question is, will LeBron James be able to drive to the basket past Scottie Pippen and successfully make the bucket, because you can't shoot over this 7 foot arm monster. I think Scottie Pippen, because of his defense, and he might win. This might go like to overtime in one-on-one, to be honest. But I'm gonna pick Pippen, but not by much. I think that LeBron James would have difficulty with Pippen just for Pippen's length. I'm not saying I don't think Pippen is like a crazy scorer like a LeBron James. So this is it's going to be a game one on defense, to be very honest, not offense. So barely I'm picking Pippen, but it would if one-on-one could go to 7 games, it'll probably go to 7. So let's see what the wall is saying. All right. So the wall is saying, okay. Rock J says Pippen. Eddie says LeBron. Justin says, oh boy, Pippen. Rock J says Pippen. Charles says LeBron outweighs him by 50 or 60 pounds. Too light in the ass. Yeah, the posting would be a problem. The question is, will LeBron rely on the post? Hopefully. I mean, you got to use the strategy you know is going to win. One-on-one is kind of like a tighter game. Jason says Pippen. Eddie says nuts if you think Pippen. Ha ha ha. So, we have Pippen is a great scorer. So let's count again. All right. So we have Rock J for Pippen. 1. We have Eddie for LeBron. So that's 1 for LeBron, 1 for Pippen. Justin is 2 for Pippen, still 1 for LeBron. Rock J's 3 for Pippen, 1 for LeBron. Charles says LeBron, so that's 2 for LeBron. Oh man, Eddie brought in the imaginary friend. Anybody have like a puppy or dog or whatever? Like, yo. So a Scottie Pippen won by 1 vote. He brought up the migraine. Yeah, well, LeBron will give him a headache. But Eddie, you the one that brought your imaginary friend the last time that messed up the votes? No, you brought your puppy. You brought the puppy. The puppy. Eddie is hilarious. Eddie always bringing some other object in the game to Did I count Rock J twice? I don't think so. Hold on. Rock J, Jason, and Justin. Justin said Pippen. So that's 3. Almost. Eddie brought his puppy the last time. Now he brought his imaginary friend. You need to get them Facebook accounts. You know, Fridays usually are a light day. We have heavier days during the week. But yeah, that was what on One-on-One Cardcast Live. You guys share the page to your friend. We have this show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 p.m. I'm bringing back Real Stat 360. That will be 1 day a week. So we'll have 4 games days of game shows just on this channel. That's all we do on 2MW Sports. Game shows that get everybody talking in a unique way. So go ahead and tag your friends, even if they're not into card collecting, bring them through, because the cards just help me with the visual stuff. All right. With that said, I'm going to be doing a video on the top 5 Killer Instinct cards that you should have. So join those of you who've liked the page. I'm going to add you to the Card Chaos Live audience group where we talk about the Killer Instinct 5. I'll do a video on that. And I just want to show off this one card because it's top of mind. I do have a Tyler Hero rookie card, and Tyler Hero has been doing this thing in the playoffs. All right. If you're looking to get into the hobby and you're a beginner, please let me know, because I'm open to helping people just get a footing in here, and the easy way to just participate in this wonderful hobby. Let's see what the board says. Thank you, Eddie. I always like the moral support keeps me going, you know. Again, we have Jordan, Kyrie, Kobe, Bird. We have all these players too. We can definitely do a game with any of those players. Always taking suggestions. I'll announce the show probably Sunday night for Monday. Yes, to live it up to his name, Tyler Hero. You know how much sponsorships this guy is gonna get? So let him stay good. Just using his last name, he can make a ton of money. All right. He can make a ton of money. So I'm gonna do the Killer Instinct 5. Oh, that's what you are listing. All right. The Killer Instinct 5 cards would be Jordan, Kyrie, Kobe, Bird. All right. Anybody else got their Killer Instinct 5? Eddie, you're into card collecting? Yeah. Eddie, and if you have something to share, I'm going to add you to the Card Chaos Live audience group. It's a small group, but I'm doing little videos to get other people in so they can participate. Card collecting is a hot thing right now. If you're not into it and just holding on to these players, they're worth value. I have a Kobe card somewhere around here. That is worth, I've seen online, about $5,000, and I found it in my garage when in a folder that I had. I had an interesting childhood. I'm the only girl in my family for maybe 20 years, and so my boy cousins used to take me to the card shops with them because I can go nowhere by myself, and that's where I got into this. All right, so. Tricia got food stamps for that 5th kid card. Listen, I got a kid card. I'm gonna send you a free one. I got so many kid cards, you can have it, Rock J. Yes, Jason is now into card collecting. Listen, I be in some random groups, and Jason be on the board like and it's so cool to see, because 3 weeks ago he wasn't collecting cards. Now he's blowing money fast and all these breaks. All right, but having fun and collecting some memorable things for the future. So keep going, Jason. Keep going. I want to pick up a couple of. Oh, really? All right, Eddie. Well, you could school me then, because I don't got 100,000 cards. But a lot of the cards that I have right now were donated by some viewers that wanted to fill in my set. That's why I have a lot of Mosaic. So thank you, Joe Alameno. I want to thank all the groups that let me post my show, which is Card Slingers Inc. Card Slingers Inc. is a good place for breaks. Cardopoly, everybody knows Frank. Frank is a good guy, and his son does a kid-friendly game with football, baseball, and basketball. The Greatest Sports Emporium, also a good place for cards. The ACG is a great place. They let me post my stuff. The NBA Philippines Collector Group, thank you for letting me post my show. Last but not least, New Jersey Sports Cards, thank you for letting me post the show. All right. With that said, let me get my music. I want my music. Sorry, I should be ready. That was Card Chaos Live Friday. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Tell your friends. I'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern on 2MW Sports Media page. Right? I will see you next week. One-on-one Card Chaos Live.